All right, good morning. It's September 19th. This is the regular Board of Commissioners meeting. I will call to order at 10:30 and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call in. Bruce Ansel.
Joe Crawford.
Matt Rigberg.
And Scott Fisher is excused. He has a medical doctor's. Public comment? Any?
No.
Okay. Open the Volunteer Pension Board meeting, 10:31. We have the approval of the August 16th minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Any other Volunteer Pension Board issues, Chief?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll adjourn the Volunteer Pension Board meeting and open the regular Board of Commissioners meeting. The consent agenda is the first order of business. It has the August 16th meeting minutes, the September 7th planning session minutes, staff reports, financial reports, voucher, payroll, and benefits. The revenues for August were $815,827.42. The expenditures for September were $1,123,118.11. Direct deposit payroll, $487,189.32. Payroll taxes, $127,184.20. Benefits voucher, $269,386.56. Monthly expenditure voucher, $181,382.68. Capital projects, $671.52. Capital projects facilities, $54,778.67. And capital projects apparatus, $2,525.16. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Any discussion, questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports. Kimberly, did you have any meetings? Very good. Matt?
Do luau's count as meetings? I'm not sure if they do or not.
Depends.
I asked if luau's count as commissioner meetings out there.
Oh.
So on 9/11, I went and attended the evening virtual all county commissioners meeting. I did bring up the levy lid lift not passing. They extended their assistance in any way, input, assistance, whatever. It was very nice, very kind. I accepted that graciously and told them I'd get back to them with anything in November if we had any requests of the other commissioners for insight or input. The big thing out of the meeting, which you were just talking about, Bruce, is the Mission Critical Partners Limited Liability Company coming in to do the study, much like we've talked about with doing our deployment studies. They're coming in to do the comprehensive study and reporting per county on fire and EMS. So that meeting is coming up on the 23rd, I believe, which Bruce and Chief are attending.
Yes.
And then they're going to be available through the 26th as well to provide any additional input. Their goal is to mitigate trepidation within the different districts. So being that our meeting was before these meetings, I don't have anything further to report on that. Everything else out of that meeting was ancillary, just minimal
Was
stuff.
there a representative there from this company?
There was not,
Okay, so this information came from,
commissioners.
Okay.
The letter went out to the chiefs, I guess.
We got an email.
Yeah.
Just got an email, so.
so it was just an update on email, there wasn't an actual real body there representing.
And there's an interim medical examiner in place. I am unaware of the prior animus that may have been between counties or the districts and the ME, but apparently the ME is aware of it, so they are working to rectify old relationships and build new ones.
No.
I guess I didn't go to any meetings. All right, thank you. 106.
Not a lot going on. The 5 new hires have hit the floor. It's been nice. Helped with overtime. Discussing labor. Sounds like we're going to hire 3 to 4, hopefully by the end of the year. So the requests went out for people for interview panels. So, and then just the new engines here. So just want to thank you guys and Chief for trying to get us new rigs as best as possible. So it'll be nice having that to operate off of. Other than that, not a whole lot.
Drive carefully.
Yeah.
That rig has been delivered, we're still striping and.
It's in the radio shop right now.
Pardon me?
It's in the radio shop right now. They're in the process of getting the radios done. Should be done probably by the midweek next week. And then I'll start working on getting the computer installed. And once that's done, they'll be up and running. So
And it's going where again?
Perfect.
63.
All right,
Just thanks again for the new toys and trying to get us the best we can. So.
we're working on it. Deputy Fire Marshal,
Yes, so for the building heights being raised along Peace Portal Drive, the planning commission has not made a determination yet whether they're going to bring this to the council. They're going to have another meeting October 10th. The comments, public comments that have come in have been both for and against the building heights being raised. The public comment is now closed. This next meeting, they should determine whether they're going to present it to the council. And we're trying to, or myself and the chief are trying to meet with the planning department next week also regarding the building heights.
Are they aware of our limited access behind the buildings off the railroad?
Yes, yeah, they are. So that's one thing I want to talk to them about next week, is let the planning department at least know that there is limited access and we're not in favor of increasing the heights.
if this board doesn't move it forward to the council, then it's dead?
It stays where it's at now at 36 feet. They want to raise it to 48 feet.
Right. But it's up to them to move it to the council, and then the council would have to approve it.
Yes.
And are we communicating with the council our concerns?
Not yet. Not yet.
Have we reached out
We're
to
starting with the city manager and we'll go that route first.
Sure.
the chief? I brought this up prior meeting. Any communication with the railroad company? None.
And part of that is my failure to do so. Also, the other part is need to kind of see what the plan is. How close are they going to encroach on that? We don't want to go to Burlington Northern with what ifs. We'd like to have like, this is what they're planning to do. Have you heard about this kind of thing? So that's.
Copy that.
All right, and then just the inspection program, pre-fire stuff that was going to be up and running, how is that?
It's up and running, but I haven't done the training with the crews yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on a lesson plan, you might call it.
All right. Unfinished business. Station 62, Chief, update on the quick claim deed issue. Where are we?
Quick claim deed, all that documentation is sent to Mr. Davis, our attorney,
he and I are having a phone conversation at 11 o'clock tomorrow to go over the punch list, basically from the planning meeting that we had. So I don't have any legal advice to pass on to you or anything that he's given us, any determination. Point of interest, there's obviously an article in the newspaper in the Northern Light today about it. I wish they would have waited a week, to be honest with you. It would have been nice to have the conversation with the city once we determined what we could do with it before it hit the newspaper, but freedom of press, I'm good with it. So here we go. Because in that article, it talks about that one option may be to, as we have not satisfied the agreement that the city and North Wacom entered to in 2013 as far as staffing that station, that the option is to return it to the city. So they're going to learn that when that paper hits their desk. So,
Yeah.
So nothing solid on that. It will be interesting to watch social media. Articles in the paper. I appreciate if you could pass on anything you see to me. I'm a lurker on Nextdoor, but I don't have full access to that as I live in a different part of the county. I don't have full access to that area. So anything that you see that I can head off, or if there's any statements that need to be made, or a visit to
I think that
the SRA.
I've already seen some of the comments regarding just how could it have gotten to this condition, and those people are unaware that that was a condition that was revealed after repair work started.
Right.
So I think those are the things that maybe another message can get out there, because it wasn't clear, obviously, from the article.
The reporter is I can call him about a follow-up, maybe for next week, that there's, or maybe a letter to the editor would be better. I don't know which. So, but I think certainly a clarification that, like, look, we didn't leave it in this condition. It was discovered in this condition as we started to make repairs to known issues already.
That's the only thing I've seen.
So just for the direction of the board, we are asking our attorney to advise us as to what our next move would be, knowing that we can't staff that station currently or in the near future. And so is it the board's recommendation that if the city wants it back, we turn it back to them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kimberly? Okay. So once we hear from Mr. Davis, I guess the board is in agreement that if the city is supposed to get it back per the agreement, we're okay with doing that. And if not, I'm not sure what happens to it at that point.
Okay. There's the subject of Station 62 is kind of a two-pronged conversation. There's that piece of, do we read this quitclaim deed correctly, and is this the right thing to do? The first order of business has to be an issue of representation, as Mr. Davis also represents the city of Blaine. So he may recuse himself from this and send us to somebody else. In the past, that's been Brian Schnurr, who is now in the same office. They've kind of formed a joint coalition. So I don't know, we may have to go further outside. I'll ask Richard if that'll be the first question is, should we even talk about this? And so that's on that punch list of things to talk about tomorrow.
Tender purchase review process.
It's being reviewed. We got the technical specs. Ryan has them.
So we have tenders that are available, or we just have?
Three tenders that are available.
Oh, well.
There's 3 tenders that are available. The cost is, it's $100,000 more than we had paid for the previous 2 tenders 2.5 years ago, which is just probably the cost of doing business. And $100,000 less than what we had bid out we had gone to bid with one company already, and it's $100,000 less than that bid came in. So it's it's in the mark.
For 3 of them or 2?
For 2.
Okay.
There's 3 available, no, for 2.
Okay.
I want to make that clear.
All right. So the price for 2 is what now?
$850 essentially. So, and we paid $750.
$850 for 2. And we had previously approved $750.
$750.
And these are their demos, or
These are demos. One will be completed in November.
Oh, wow.
So they're demo models that Pierce uses to. They are located in Florida, so the transport fees might be a bit, but because they'd have to be low void out here.
Right.
But
Anybody got a CDL?
you can see Commissioner Crawford's wheels turning already.
We did it before.
Literally and figuratively.
Oh, yeah.
Can he tow it with his?
Hey, Dan. All right.
Ryan's going over them now. We just got him late last week, so
Okay.
and amongst everything else Ryan's doing, he's digging through the
Sure.
technical specs.
Okay. So no action at this point.
No action at this point.
Okay. Any other unfinished business? New business? We all had a firefighter job description that was in our packet, both the strike-through and the clean version. So a lot of strike-throughs.
That's why we included the clean version.
Primarily, this was to convert it to the new format,
Correct.
which all of our job descriptions have gone to, which has a little better numbering system and readability, etc. I think it was mostly just some grammatical changes and updates. I think it looked like it may have took away some of the responsibilities.
We removed the volunteer training responsibilities from it.
Right,
Is what we removed.
right,
So it had stated in there that that essentially the volunteers that the paid firefighters are responsible for training and that the firefighters were responsible for developing training for the
Right.
volunteers. So we just removed that. So
Right.
and then other than that, it's just it's formatting and grammatical. We took out the he, her, and just said them kind of thing. Just made it 2024.
okay. Any comments, questions, additions, suggestions? Everybody's good? That doesn't need board approval?
No, it'll go to the union as well. Once you guys say
We're good with it?
you're good with it, I'll send it to the union for review, and then if they're good with it,
Publish. All right, thank you. Thanks to everyone who had their eyes and fingers and time put in to reformatting that. And then next was the Whatcom County Mutual Aid Agreement. There was a fair amount of legalese in that document. I'm hoping that our attorney reviewed it.
yes. Everybody's attorneys reviewed it. We're the last district to have it.
Okay, so at
Everybody's
this
looked at
point, everyone is on board. We're all good with that. Our contract agreement person, are you okay with the language in there?
You're clearly asking John, correct? I am comfortable with it.
All right. So we need to adopt that.
Yes. Adopt so you can sign.
So we have before us an interlocal agreement for firefighting, medical aid, and hazardous materials mutual aid services. And this is for Whatcom County and includes District 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 11, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, North and South Whatcom, City of Bellingham, and City of Linden. Is there a motion to approve this mutual aid agreement?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. October planning session agenda items. That meeting is scheduled for October 12th here at 9 a.m. Correct?
Yes.
I'm assuming, Jenny, that we have left sort of those to-do things that were on those papers.
Yes.
And that's what would drive the agenda for that meeting? Unless anyone has anything
And our
else.
my conversation with Richard tomorrow.
Right, and he's supposed to be there.
He will be there.
Right,
Yep.
so our attorney will be there to answer a lot of these squishy issues. And we're inviting the D4 board.
Yes.
And then, yeah, our laundry list of items to do follow-ups.
One question, do you want the D4 board there for the whole thing, or would you like them there for, say, from noon on? Or from
You know,
for last hour?
Be nice to know if they have anything that they want us to
right,
know.
I mean, I would defer to you on that and have a conversation with them and tell them what's going on and leave it up to them as to, I mean, this isn't a budget planning session,
No.
this is mainly a D21 thing, but we want to be totally transparent with them since they pay 25% of our operating budget.
Where are they at with the city and the annex right now?
Their meeting was scheduled for Monday, but due to a lack of quorum, they didn't have it. Chief Hewitt is actually scheduled to be at their meeting, which will be now next Monday, and we'll get the clear update from Chief Hewitt on where they're at. He was finally tasked with department heads were finally tasked with commenting on the impacts of the annexation. So he's going to give his report to the District 4 board commissioners so that they can see what fires impacts we're going to be pointed out. What impacts are being pointed out to the city council?
To clarify for the meeting coming up, the next on the 12th, are we going to have discussion about alternative funding sources? I know we discussed it briefly last time. But we still have a direction we need to move. So I want to make sure that we have that plan ticking in the back of our head. And I think discussion needs to be had about what we're going to do next.
Yes. These are the questions that Richard and I are going to talk about tomorrow. So local improvement districts. Could Birch Bay form a lid to build a new station? Can a lid include unincorporated areas such as Birch Bay and areas currently in a city such as Semiahmoo? Station 63, legal parameters regarding demolishing the front of the building. Legal parameters including size limitations regarding adding modular living quarters. Can the district use mitigation monies to do this? Growth in the fire service is a major reason for needing the new living quarters, such as added diversity in our workforce. Station 62, quick claim deed, contract with the city of Blaine. Is there a conflict of interest in Richard representing us? Can we utilize Brian's sewer services if needed? And do we need a resolution to give it back or sell the building? Can we charge cities for us attending large scale events? If so, who should we charge, the organizer or the city or county? Are cities required to have EMS or fire coverage at these events based on the number of expected attendees? Revenue recovery, can the district charge for incidents other than fire, hazmat, motor vehicle incidents, public assists? What's the definition of a public assist? Can we charge for treatment and no transport? I believe we've answered that question internally, but I still want to ask Richard that. What what BLS and fire services is the district legally required to provide? High rise, can the district add language to the will serve letter stating we do not have necessary equipment or resources to respond adequately? And the district is exploring utilizing a financial collections agency in January to recover some BLS costs. Do we need a resolution? Legal guidelines legal guidelines regarding public agencies doing collections. So this is the start of the conversation we're having tomorrow. These are the subjects that I'm asking Richard about. And not to get the full answer from him, but to have him bring those answers to you, so that what I didn't want to do was try to explain all these to him in an email that could take a month to write. So I figured it would be easier for a phone call. So what I'm hoping is he'll ask me further questions about these issues and where are we trying to go, or what are the commissioners trying to do, and that he can bring that to you on the 12th.
There was conversation, I thought, about what the fire marshal involvement is with city planning, and if we don't sign off on something, is that part of the high-rise conversation?
That's the will serve letter.
Okay.
That's where that conversation's going to focus.
Okay, thank you. That was great, actually, thanks.
And I'm happy to send this to you. I'll forward it to you as well so you can see it. But this is what came.
Probably in our packet for the October session, if we have that to read beforehand. That would be good.
So this list was compiled, what we did after the September 7th meeting. That Monday morning, all of us, the staff, sat down and we went through all those pieces of paper and all the notes that Jenny had written and things like that. And since all of us were here, we compiled the lists and we split up, these are the things to do, this is what we got to research. This is to the attorney. So
Thank you for all that work.
Question for fire marshal would be, is there a known requirement for large gatherings to provide medical or EMS coverage for an event? Are there?
Not in the code book, code-wise, no. I could call around and see what other cities and departments do. As far as requirements, I'm not aware of any.
I think it's more of an insurance issue. If my conversations with the Birch Bay Chamber, actually it was the library, for like their fun run and things like that, or their liability insurance, to get a better rate or whatever, they had to demonstrate that there would be EMS coverage on site or at the event if available. So I think it was more for insuring an event like that. I'm assuming that if you're going to invite 20,000 people into the city, you have to have some sort of insurance policy.
Yeah, and then
And then that obviously would be determined if, well, what happens if something happens? It's like, well.
you can have a special events planning group that sets a rate for off-duty. That's a conversation with the union, I would assume too, but off-duty rates can get set. People that want to be available to work off-duty, if there's equipment available to do so.
And that's what spurred this conversation, is that Blaine PD just did this. They updated theirs, I should say. They didn't just do it, they just updated it. And that's what kind of spurred this conversation of, well, wait a minute, they're paying,
Yeah, theirs was because they got to close streets and.
It's all
Safety
valuable
stuff.
time that people are working,
Right.
so, and EMS is part of that equation, fire's part of that equation.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, well, they definitely are.
They're gonna be part of the equation whether we.
Any type of mass gathering stands the potential to be a mass casualty response, and that gives us leverage in setting that.
All right, anything else? Kimberly, you good with the planning session agenda items based on our to-do list from the meeting?
Yes.
Any other new business? All right, correspondence is in our packet. Some letters to the editor. And what else was in there? Oh, the boundary review board thing, chief.
Oh,
That's that parcel that we talked about already. Is that?
No, this is a new parcel
Oh,
in
okay.
Linden, extends down Birch Bay Linden Road to Berthson Road. It's like 200 acres. And it will result in about a $47,000 loss of tax revenue.
Do you have any say about that?
I suppose we do. I hadn't. It's part of the city's urban growth area, and it lops off the end of it's their far west. So I kind of chalked it up to it's part of the urban growth area. The state's going to let them go. We could spend all kinds of terms fighting it, but I think it's been long. It's been a long time coming, and the city's got a good argument for it. What they need is stormwater retention ponds, and that's where they intend to build them to further. And then they're rezoning those like mixed commercial, and it sounds like there's already plans to what's currently a berry field from Birch Bay Linden Road to the office park that's never been built. They're just south of Main Street. There's already planned commercial going in there. So I think the city would spend a lot of money to get nowhere if we were, being that it's already in the urban growth area.
So the question would be then, if this property does get developed, who's going to end up responding to it when they're not available?
Well, as happened this morning, I suppose, District 1, South, North Wacom, all of us will all go.
Yeah.
And that just comes from that auto mutual aid agreement that we just approved, right?
Right, but I just say, okay, yeah, go ahead and annex more property, don't add resources and just push the burden on to your neighbors.
Fortunately, it's the same,
everywhere, right?
it's the same thing we deal with. We see new subdivisions go up in unincorporated parts of the county and,
Right.
Yep.
All right. I'll put my soapbox away. Announcements, we got the planning session meeting on the 12th. Is everyone good for
Okay.
that? All right. And then the regular board meeting on the 17th. All good?
Yep.
All right. Agenda items for the next meeting, which will be after our planning session. So, we'll have Station 62 on there. Will we have anything on 63, Chief, to report on?
I believe we should have, we'll have more information about it.
Okay.
I'm touring two modular fire stations next week.
Okay.
As well as we're talking tomorrow about 63. We need to talk to DFM Nielsen about some more zoning stuff. It seemed like we kind of got, I read it as two different answers, but
It is zoned. We can put a structure in there, for living quarters. But the question right now is whether or not it has to be sprinklered.
correct.
So, I'm interpreting the code a different way than the county fire marshal is.
Like I said, we have two different opinions that need to get hammered out. So,
Is the existing living quarters sprinklered?
yes.
Yes, it is, but this will be detached from the building.
Right.
It'll just be a manufactured home.
Thanks. All right, well, hopefully we'll get that squared away. So, yeah, 62, 63, I believe there'll be another job description next meeting, that is updated. And then I guess we can add any other items from the planning session to the agenda, when we have the meeting on that Saturday. Anyone else got any issues? Will we have maybe the tender,
Should have.
an idea about the tender?
Yep.
Just want an update on what happens in the meeting coming up with the study, fire and EMS study.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that'll be a meeting report. All right, anything else? Okay, we got to sign documents. Kimberly, when you get back in town, when do you get back?
The 25th.
So you can figure out with Jenny how to get the stuff signed. Any other business before the board? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
11:07, meeting adjourned. Have a fun day, Kimberly.